All right. My presentation is about, as the slide says, which is fairly small, I don't know why, is about doing. It's about, that's why it says single word do. And I found this to be the most productive way to actually find your passion or your purpose, whatever you're looking for. Uh, while I will try and communicate my message, what I'm going to share with you is a short story about myself. And I hope that through the story I'm able to communicate why I think this is probably, at least for me, has been the only way to find my passion, ultimately finding my purpose, and how I continue the journey. Do I use this?
Yes.
Okay. So it starts at the age of 13. How many of you have been in a history class? Come on, everybody, right? It's probably the most boring class you can be in, right? It's like somebody talking about dates after dates after dates about things that have happened that doesn't influence your life, and you don't know why the hell are you there. It's never going to help you unless you want to become an archaeologist or something, ninja or something like that. But most of the people don't care. I mean, yeah, there was a king, he did something. What am I supposed to do about that? And I had this teacher called Mrs. Purana, and she wanted me to get the point. She was like, Ajit, you need to understand history is important. You've got to learn this. And I'm like, I don't see the point. The only people who score in history are the people who can mug the whole thing and vomit it out on the sheet of paper, because that's all history is about, right? You know, they just learn the dates and put it out there. And one day I was reading this comic book, of course, bored as hell, so never wanted to go to the history class. All I used to do was sneak in the comic books, put it between the books, and then read them while nobody's watching, because we were like 60 people in a class, so you could very easily sneak that up. So I was reading a comic book, and this was about this Indian king. Nothing connected to history, just a fantasy story. And I was interested. It was kind of fun. And I was like, hey, this is nice to just read a story which has the good guys and the bad guys, and then good guy wins, but the bad guy's winning in the middle, and he's like more powerful and all that kind of shit. It's kind of cool to be able to read a good guy, bad guy story all the time. And I was like, hey, that's an aha moment. History is like a comic book. It's like there's a good guy, there's always a bad guy. The bad guy is always trying to win the good guy, and the good guy always, even after struggling and half the good guy is dying and most of the good guy is dying, eventually the good guy always wins, because at least that's what we think he's the good guy, right? So history became a story. And then I realized, oh, if I really think about it, chemistry is also a story, because O2 meets H2 and then it becomes H2O, and that's like, you know, good guy, bad guy, again mixing something. Physics became a story because something drops from here and that happens, and everything started to become like a story. Or instead of being, oh shit, I have to learn these numbers and dates, it became, oh, I just need to remember what happens when the good guy meets the bad guy and how the state of things happen, and everything became a comic book. Now, how does that become my passion? That I will talk about later. But for now, let's move fast forward to age 18. I'm 18 years old, a student of science, maths, and computers. Just finished my high school. Horrible. Hated my subjects because I was like, oh my god, science. I have to study so much. Even if it was a story, it's still a pain in the ass because so many stories are also not good. And that also, which completely concerns chemicals and physics. So at that point in time, I was like, and you know, Indian parents, right? They don't want you to really quit on engineering. You know, everything's such a cool career to have, so secure. Be like IIT, and then you know you get this fancy job. So I had to convince my parents. Finally, said, you know what? I'm gonna quit this. It's not gonna work out for me. I'm just gonna go commerce, learn business or something else, but not science. Did that, quit it. Didn't make any sense at that point of time. Moved on to help my mom with a network marketing business. I'm sure you must have heard about these companies, Amway and Herbalife and all those, right?
Yes.
My mom used to work for one of those guys, Amway, pissed off all the money there. I mean, didn't make a dime out of it. But anyways, I was trying to help her out. So I went to Amway office trying to pick up some products. Meet this guy called Mr. Bhargav. I'm not taking full names because I don't know if I can go on video with that. So Mr. Bhargav, and met the guy, and he was like, hey, you look like a nice kid. Do you want to work for me? I was like, yeah, but you work for Amway. I don't want to be a network marketer. My mom is already throwing all the money there. They're like, no, I'm starting a company. Do you want to join me? I was like, sure, why not? Let's join your company. He was in this event management company, so completely startup, completely broke. He himself, when he was trying to start a company, which was fine. A lot of entrepreneurs are completely broke, and that was okay. started joining him, started doing the stuff. Is that the time that is left or gone?
Time is left.
Shit, I have to speed up. So I'm going to talk fast from here on and skip years faster. So was working with this guy, and this guy completely blew his company. But it left me with something, which also I will come back later, because that will help me define how me doing these small nugget of things of finding the stories and finding story in everything, to actually being with a businessman, trying to see how all business and entrepreneurship really works, and how do you really drill your business down to the hole and don't make it work. Skip to 22. When I was 22, I was working for an organization called ISEC. I was supposed to lead this chapter of 50 kids, trying to make them rank among 600 different chapters across the world. And it was, of course, it's a 50 kids. So, like 20, 18, 19, 20-year-old kids who have no idea why they're doing what they're doing. Like me, who was 22 and had no idea why he's doing what he's doing. He was just excited to be there. Looks like there are a lot of bicycles here. Big laughter out there. Huh? They're like, yeah, I don't know why I'm doing this. So I was same. I was completely lost. I was like, okay, why am I doing this at 22, losing my hair, which you can see the impact of eventually. I was like, why am I doing this? Really? And I spoke to a mentor. I was like, I don't know how to train 18-year-olds to become awesome and lead like 600 chapters in the game of numbers. I don't know that. He was like, hey, you just need one thing. Just make more of yous, and which basically means leaders. Create more leaders, and you're going to get there. I was like, yeah, that sounds easy, but how do you do that? He was like, just share everything you know with them, and you're going to get there. I was like, hey, that's again a bullet point. I was like, hey, that means if I keep giving, eventually I start receiving in the sense of results, not directly receiving anything, but if I keep giving, people eventually rise, and they also start giving, so eventually everybody rises, and everybody rises to the occasion and achieves what they want to achieve. Third pointer that adds to my passion and purpose comes in. At 25, I was at a team event of Mindvalley in Bali. I was listening to speakers like Vishen, who is the founder of this company, Mike, who was the co-founder of this company, Brian Johnson, he's an author, he has written this beautiful program called Philosopher's Notes. And listening to all these cool people talking about happiness, purpose, vision, all these big, nice things, but what stuck with me, especially that was mentioned by Brian Johnson, that the only thing that matters is, are you happy at the end of the day? And are you happy perpetually? Are you always happy, irrespective of what's happening? Now, because I have no time, I'm going to skip to 27, which is now. At 27, I just want to say how doing all this that I'm talking about, and of course there are a lot of years I've skipped in the middle. Of course, I picked up on a lot of things, found a lot of passions, a lot of fun, found my purpose in different ways. But what I want to say is all these pieces of puzzle come together at 27. They might not seem important at that point of time. They might seem like disconnected stories. But the act of me being able to do what I was doing, or the act of me just doing those things, today come together. My act of learning and seeing everything as a story made me someone who's a really passionate marketer, someone who likes to tell stories, someone who likes to listen to stories. It makes me a great listener. It makes me a great salesman when I need to become a great salesman, because I learned how to craft stories, because everything had to be a story, else I wouldn't learn. So my act of doing, of saying how to make stories, got me to become a great marketer. It wasn't connected at that point in time, but it connects now, which is my passion number one, which is becoming great at sales and marketing. My passion number two was when I was 18, trying to figure out commerce and entrepreneurship, which makes me an entrepreneur. Right now I have 3 different partnerships with Mindvalley. Before that I was a businessman. I have different partners across the world, and I start businesses as I feel like, whatever I feel I'm passionate about. But at the same point in time, so I don't drill them down the hole, because I figured that out by working with that guy, finding, A, I love business, and I don't like to go and make them into like debt and not make any money out of it. So that made me a great businessman, because I found passion in entrepreneurship by working with an entrepreneur saying, hey, I like to do that, but I just don't like the outcome, so I need to make the outcome better. But it helped me find my passion. When I was 22, leading a batch of 50 kids with me, and by the act of giving, it made me find in myself that I like when I'm able to contribute to different people in different ways. It can be in a good way, but not bad way, good way, most of the times. But if I'm contributing to somebody else's life, it gives me, which I discovered at 25, which is perpetual happiness, that I always want to be happy. And that is, again, one of my passions and one of my purposes, that I just want to be a happy guy. And so I'm always happy, because whenever I'm not happy, I can go back one step back and say, what is my other passion? To give, or to market, or to start a business. I do all of that and I reach my happiness point. But what the key point I then want to leave with everyone here is, there is no point where you will know this is my ultimate passion or this is my ultimate purpose. When I was 13, my passion was to tell stories. It wasn't to market. Marketing came in only now. When I was 18, my passion was to be able to start a business, but it wasn't that I became a businessman at that point in time. When I was 22, my passion was to help people, but I wasn't helping anyone but a bunch of kids. At 27, yes, I have all these passions, but I know this is leading to something else. But what is happening at all points of time, which I think is the ultimate of us realizing and being in this moment, is if you will do things, and it can be anything, and you will figure it out how it puts together. I didn't know at 13 how creating those stories will add up to anything in my life, my purpose, or my passion, and there's a red light, so I have to quit it right now. So, point being, that at 13 I didn't know how stories will help me. At 27 I can see it. At 47 I don't know why I'm giving a presentation right now, but I know at 47 I will know that. Right now I'm just doing it because I like giving. But you don't know how it's going to add up eventually. So what I want to leave you with, point B, is do something and don't worry about is it going to fit in. Just do it, and if you're having fun with it, most likely it's somehow going to add up to your passion or to your purpose. And that's pretty much it.